Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at Portugal's Military Intelligence Service.
CISMIL, right? The Centro de Informações y Segurança Militares.
Exactly. We've got a PDF on it, plus the Wikipedia page. Our aim really is to get a handle on what CISMIL does, how it's set up, and, the history behind it. See what it tells us about Portugal's defense thinking.
And what strikes me straight away is that, well, CISMIL itself only kicked off in 2010.
Yeah, relatively recent in its current form.
But it's built on quite a bit that came before. It was part of that whole reorganization of the Armed Forces General Staff.
Okay.
And its job, fundamentally, is intelligence for specific military missions, Portuguese missions, and also handling military security, protecting their own.
So very focused on the military side of things.
Precisely. It seems that dedicated focus became really important around 2010. Any thoughts on why then?
That's interesting. Maybe tying into specific operational needs. It reports directly to the Minister of National Defense, that's Nuno Melo currently.
Right.
And it sits under the Armed Forces General Staff, headed by Admiral Silva Ribeiro. Commodore Proença Mendes leads CISMIL itself. The direct line. It suggests importance, doesn't it?
Definitely. High-level oversight.
Oh.
And the structure reflects that focus. You mentioned the Planning Bureau.
Yeah, thinking ahead, strategy. Then there's a Research Coordination and Management Bureau. Sounds like the central hub for information.
Could be. And the Production Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
That's likely where they, turn the raw data, the research, into usable intelligence.
Actionable stuff for commanders.
Exactly. Then you've got security and counterinformation protecting themselves, obviously.
Absolutely.
And a defense and military attaches liaison office.
Yeah.
So, coordinated with Portuguese officers abroad, plus a support section, admin and logistics. It feels pretty comprehensive.
It does. But like you said, this wasn't built from scratch in 2010. There's a history here.
Oh, yeah. The sources trace it back way back to the EMGFA 2nd Division in 74, 75.
Right after the revolution.
Then SDCI for a bit. Then DIMFO from 77 to 93. That was a longer stretch. And DIML after that, 93 to 97.
So quite a few changes, constant evolution, it seems. What was driving that, do you think? Adapting to new threats, new political realities?
Probably a mix of all that. The security landscape changes, priorities shift. What's really interesting is that a law back in 1984 actually foresaw a specific military information service, a SIM.
SIM, but it never quite happened like that.
Apparently not. The plan was there, but DIMFO just sort of carried on doing the job for years. Maybe practical issues, maybe the need wasn't seen as urgent then.
Or maybe bureaucratic inertia. Hard to say.
Could be. Then things changed again in 97. SEDM was created.
Yes, SIDM. That was meant to be bigger, right? Combining military and foreign intelligence.
That was the idea, sort of dual-hatted agency. But it didn't last long in that form.
No. What happened?
It pretty quickly morphed into SID, which focused just on foreign intelligence, the strategic defense stuff.
Okay, so they separated the functions again.
Exactly. Which suggests they realized, perhaps, that military intelligence needed its own dedicated structure, its own focus.
Which brings us back to CISMIL being set up in 2010 to fill that specific military intelligence gap.
Precisely. It's like the combination of decades of figuring out the best structure, a strategic refinement, as you put it.
And it's not just theory. They've been active, haven't they?
Yeah. The sources mention CISMIL operatives deploying with Portuguese forces. Kosovo, Lebanon, Afghanistan are named.
So boots on the ground support, providing that crucial intelligence picture for ongoing operations.
Right. It shows the practical application, supporting Portugal's role in international security missions.
So wrapping up, CISMIL is clearly a vital piece of Portugal's modern defense setup. It's got this history of adaptation, finding its specific niche.
Definitely. Supporting the armed forces, protecting national security interests, its mandate is clear.
Which leads to a final thought for you, our listener. When you think about Portugal's history, its role in NATO, the EU, its deployments, how does having an effective specialized military intelligence service like CISMIL potentially contribute to wider European security?
Yeah, how does one nation's capability feed into that bigger picture of collective defense and stability? Something to ponder.